The knock comes at 12:47 a.m. 3 times. Slow. Controlled. The kind of knock that doesn't ask permission. I'm standing in my kitchen with a glass of water halfway to my lips when the sound cuts through the silence. My pulse spikes. The glass trembles in my hand. I already know who it is. I set the glass down. Walk to the door. My fingers hover over the lock. Through the peephole, rain streaks across the hallway lights. And there he stands. Dominic Vale, Alpha, CEO of Vale Industries. The man who owns half this city's skyline and all of its shadows. My former boss. The man I walked away from 3 days ago. He's wearing a black suit. Water beads across his shoulders like diamonds under fluorescent light. His jaw is set. His hands are in his pockets. He's not looking at the door, he's looking down the hallway. Scanning. My stomach drops. I unlock the door. The sound makes him turn. And when his eyes meet mine, I forget how to breathe. They're wrong. Not cold. Not furious. Wounded. Did anyone follow you today? His voice is low. Controlled. The kind of calm that comes right before a storm rips the roof off. I blink. What? Answer me. He steps forward. Not aggressive. Careful. Like I'm something fragile he's afraid to break. Did anyone follow you? A car that stayed behind you too long. Someone on your floor you didn't recognize. Anything unusual. My throat closes. I know. I don't think so. He exhales through his nose. The tension in his shoulders doesn't ease. Dominic. My voice cracks. Why are you here? He looks at me for 3 full seconds. Rain drips from his hair onto the collar of his shirt. The scent hits me then. Rain, leather, that sharp alpha musk that used to fill the top floor of the tower every time he walked into a room. It used to make me feel safe. Now it makes me feel hunted. He reaches into his jacket. My heart slams against my ribs. But what he pulls out isn't a weapon. It's a folder. Red. The same red folder I left on his desk 3 days ago. My resignation. My escape route. My final line in the sand. I clutch the doorframe. You kept it. I accepted you quitting, he says quietly. His voice is thunder buried under restraint. But I did not accept losing you. The words land like a fist to my chest. I shake my head. Dominic, I can't. Someone ordered your elimination. The air vanishes from my lungs. He steps inside. I don't stop him. The door closes behind him with a soft click that sounds like a prison gate locking. What? I whisper. He doesn't answer right away. He's scanning my apartment now, windows, exits, sightlines. The way a predator maps territory. Then he reaches into his jacket again. This time he pulls out a second folder. Black. He holds it out to me. I don't take it. Open it, he says. My hands shake as I reach for it. The folder is heavier than it should be. I flip it open. Bank transfers. Encrypted messages. Surveillance photos. Of me. Leaving work. Getting coffee. Walking into this building. My vision blurs. At the bottom of the stack, there's a printed message. The ink is still dark. Recent. Terminate the Omega. He knows too much. Ice floods my veins. I look up. Dominic is watching me. His jaw is tight. His fists are clenched at his sides. The night you resigned, he says, I ran an audit. Not of finances. Of people. I wanted to know who'd been watching you. Who'd been asking questions. Why? My voice is barely a whisper. His eyes burn. Because the person who orchestrated Leo's kidnapping wasn't a rival syndicate. My heart stops. It was someone under my protection, he continues. Someone close. Someone I trusted. The room tilts. Leo. The terrified child with gray eyes who looked at me like I was the only safe thing left in the world. The child I nearly died trying to save. They know you found the trail, Dominic says. They know you connected the dots. And they've decided you're a liability. I can't breathe. Can't think. The black folder slips from my hands and scatters across the floor. Dominic doesn't move to pick it up. You quit because you thought the danger was the work, he says softly. But the danger followed you home tonight. My knees buckle. I catch myself against the wall. He takes one step forward. Stops. His hands flex like he wants to reach for me but won't let himself. I built a kingdom, he says. His voice cracks on the last word. But I didn't build it safe enough for you. Emotion twists sharp in my chest. Fear, anger, heartbreak. Something I've spent 6 months refusing to name. So what happens now? I manage. His eyes lock onto mine. Now I erase every threat with my own hands, he says. And you don't face it alone again. Silence. Rain hammers against the window. Sirens wail somewhere in the distance. I look at the black folder. At the evidence scattered across my floor. At the man standing in my apartment like a king who just lost his throne. You're asking me to walk back into the fire, I whisper. Dominic shakes his head. I'm asking you to walk beside me, he says. As someone I will protect even if it costs me everything. The promise hangs in the air between us. Heavy, unbreakable, terrifying. Because the most dangerous part isn't the enemies waiting in the dark. It's the alpha standing 3 feet away. And the way my heart already chose him long before I ever walked away. 6 months ago I was nobody. A mid-level logistics Omega in a company built on steel, secrets, and ruthless decisions. Vale Industries didn't make products, it made power. And power required people like me. Quiet, useful, invisible. That used to be my strength. The tower was 60 floors of glass and intimidation. I worked on the 32nd floor. Dominic Vale lived on the 60th. I'd seen him exactly twice in 8 months. Once during orientation. Once in an elevator that smelled like expensive cologne and unspoken threats. He didn't look at me either time. Alphas like him don't see Omegas like me. We're furniture. Necessary but forgettable. I liked it that way. Until the night everything changed. It started with a file. I was running reconciliation on a shipment manifest. Standard procedure, boring as hell, when I noticed something off. A transport logged under charitable partner operations. Clean paperwork. Approved signatures. Except the timestamps didn't match. The cargo left the warehouse at 11 p.m. The approval was signed at 9 a.m. the next day. 12 hours late. I pulled the freight logs. Then the personnel records. Then the financial transfers tied to the partner account. That's when I found him. Leo. A child. Maybe 6 years old. Gray eyes. Haunted expression in the intake photo. The file said his parents had voluntarily surrendered custody after a port deal went wrong. The company's charitable partner, a sanitized shell corporation, took him in. Except nothing about it was charity. The more I dug, the worse it got. Timelines that didn't align. Payroll expenditures that vanished into offshore accounts. Private transports in the middle of the night with no log destinations. It looked like someone inside Vale Industries was selling protection. And when families couldn't pay, they lost their children. I sat in my cubicle for 20 minutes staring at the screen. My hands shook. My pulse hammered in my ears. I should have deleted it, buried it, pretended I never saw it. But I kept thinking about those gray eyes. So I did the stupidest thing I've ever done. I printed the file, walked to the 60th floor, and demanded to see Dominic Vale. His assistant, a sharp-eyed beta named Marcus, looked at me like I'd asked to see God. Mr. Vale doesn't take walk-ins, Marcus said. Tell him it's about Leo. Marcus froze. His expression shifted. 5 seconds later, I was inside the corner office. The view was dizzying. The city spread out below like a kingdom. And standing at the window with his hands in his pockets was Dominic Vale. He didn't turn around. You have 2 minutes, he said. I set the file on his desk. He turned, looked at the file, then at me. His eyes were storm gray, calculating, lethal. Explain, he said. So I did. He read every line. His jaw tightened. His scent deepened. Controlled alpha fury, coiled and deadly. When he finished, he looked up. We'll handle this, he said. Not I'll handle this. For the first time in that tower of glass and silence, I wasn't invisible. I just didn't know yet what that would cost me. After that night, everything changed. Dominic didn't summon me back to the 60th floor. He didn't send Marcus with orders. He came to my cubicle. It was 9 a.m. on a Tuesday. I was halfway through my second cup of coffee when his scent hit me, sharp, controlled, unmistakable. I looked up. He was standing 3 feet away in a charcoal suit that probably cost more than my rent. His hands were in his pockets. His expression was unreadable. "Walk with me," he said. It wasn't a request. We walked to a conference room on the 45th floor. Empty. Soundproof. The kind of room where careers ended and secrets stayed buried. He closed the door. Pulled up a file on the screen. "I need you to verify something," he said. It was another manifest. Another shell corporation. Another set of irregular transfers. He needed my eyes. My instinct for patterns. My ability to see what others missed. Over the next 3 weeks, it became routine. Morning briefings. Late-night calls. Files delivered to my desk with handwritten notes in his precise, slanted script. Check this. Confirm the timeline. Find the connection. I found connections. Too many. The corruption ran deeper than one rogue partner. It was a network. Someone inside Vale Industries had spent years building a pipeline. Selling protection, trafficking leverage, and when families couldn't pay, their children disappeared into the system. Leo wasn't the first. He was just the first one we noticed. Dominic's fury was surgical. He dismantled shell accounts, severed corrupt contracts, fired executives who asked too many questions or not enough. But he never moved without me. "Tell me what you see," he'd say, standing too close, his voice low and rough, and I'd tell him. I stopped sleeping, started eating at my desk. My apartment became a place I visited between shifts. But I didn't mind, because for the first time in my life I mattered. Then someone noticed. It was a Friday, late. I was alone in the archive room pulling files when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Stop digging. My blood ran cold. I stared at the message, deleted it, kept working. 2 days later, another message. "You don't know what you're risking." I showed Dominic. He read it. His jaw tightened. He didn't say anything for 10 full seconds. Then he looked at me. "You're moving to the secured floors," he said. "No arguments. Dominic, no arguments." I moved my workspace to the 58th floor, 2 floors below his office, surrounded by security, surveillance, and alphas who looked at me like I was something valuable they'd been ordered to protect. It should have felt safer, felt like a cage, but I kept digging, kept finding connections, kept tracing the pipeline back to its source, until the night Leo disappeared. I was in my new office when Marcus burst through the door. His face was pale. "Leo's gone," he said. "Someone took him from the safe house." The world stopped. I looked at Marcus, at the half-finished file on my desk, at the phone that had warned me twice to stop digging, and I realized something that made my stomach drop. They didn't just want me to stop. They wanted to prove they could take everything I cared about. I didn't ask permission. I hacked the transport logs, traced 3 false manifests, cross-referenced GPS pings from the security detail that had been reassigned the night Leo vanished. Took me 4 hours. The location was an abandoned warehouse on the East Docks, a front owned by a shell corporation I'd flagged 2 weeks ago. I sent Dominic the coordinates. Found him. East Docks, Warehouse 7. His reply came in seconds. "Stay where you are. I'm handling this." I stared at the message. Then I grabbed my jacket and left. The docks smelled like oil and rust. The warehouse loomed against the night sky. Dark, skeletal, wrong. I slipped through a gap in the chain-link fence and moved between shipping containers. Voices. Engines idling. The sharp click of a magazine sliding into a gun. My pulse hammered. I found a side entrance. The lock was broken. Inside, the air was thick with mildew and something sharper, fear. I moved through the shadows, checked every corner, every crate. Then I heard it. A whimper. I followed the sound to a rusted panel near the back wall. Pulled it aside. Gray eyes stared up at me. "Leo." He was curled into a ball, trembling, his face streaked with tears. "Hey," I whispered. "Hey, it's okay. I'm here. I'm going to get you out." He didn't recognize me. Too much fear. Too much trauma. But he recognized the promise in my voice. I pulled him out, held him close. His little body shook against my chest. Then I heard footsteps. Well, a voice drawled. "Look what we found." I turned. 3 men, armed, smiling. I pushed Leo behind me. "Run," I whispered. He didn't move. The first man stepped forward. "The boss said you'd show up." Predictable little Omega. Pain exploded across my ribs. I hit the ground hard. Tasted blood. Leo screamed. I tried to stand. Couldn't. The world tilted. Boots. Shouts. Hands dragging me backward. Then the air changed. It happened fast. The door blew open. Not crashed. Controlled. Deliberate. Dominic walked in like death in a tailored suit. He didn't shout. Didn't rush. He dismantled them. Negotiation. Intimidation. Violence only when required. It was surgical. Terrifying. Absolute. Leo was carried out first. I watched through blurred vision as Dominic handed him to Marcus. "Get him to the med team," Dominic said. "Now." Then he turned to me. His expression was unreadable. He crouched down, checked my ribs. His hands were gentle. His scent was fury. "You shouldn't have come alone," he said quietly. I coughed, winced. "You told me to stay put." "I did. You also told me we protect what's ours." His gaze cut to me, and for the first time I saw fear in his eyes. Not fear of losing control. Fear of losing me. After the warehouse, I thought things would ease. They didn't. Dominic buried me in work. New files every morning. Crisis meetings every afternoon. Strategy sessions that stretched past midnight. I was invited into rooms where billion-dollar decisions were made. Where alphas twice my age deferred to my analysis. I should have felt honored. I felt like I was drowning. The pressure wasn't punishment. It was protection. Dominic thought if he kept me close, kept me essential, kept me surrounded by his people, I'd be safe. What he didn't realize was that safety wasn't the problem. Survival was. I stopped sleeping. Couldn't eat without my stomach turning. My hands shook when I typed. My pulse never slowed. Panic attacks hit without warning. Sharp, breathless, paralyzing. I hid them. For weeks I hid them. Until the night Leo found me in the break room at 2 a.m., hyperventilating into my hands. He didn't say anything. Just climbed onto the chair next to me and pressed his small hand against mine. "It's okay," he whispered. "You're safe." The irony shattered me. I was supposed to protect him. Instead, this 6-year-old child was comforting me. I pulled him close, held him until my breathing steadied. "Are you scared?" he asked softly. "Sometimes," I admitted. "Me too." Silence. "Will they come back for me?" he asked. My throat closed. I wanted to lie, wanted to promise him he was safe, that Dominic had eliminated every threat, that no one would ever hurt him again. But I couldn't, because I'd seen the files, seen the network, seen how deep the corruption ran, and I knew we'd barely scratched the surface. "I won't let them," I said instead. He looked at me with those gray eyes. "Promise. Promise." It was the last promise I should have made. Because the next morning, I woke up and realized something that made my chest cave in. I couldn't keep doing this. Not the work. Not the fear. Not the constant vigilance. Not the weight of knowing that every decision I made could get someone killed. Not even for Leo. Not even for Dominic. I sat at my desk and stared at the blank screen for 20 minutes. Then I started typing. Resignation letter. To Dominic Vale, CEO. Effective immediately, I am resigning from my position at Vale Industries. This decision is not made lightly. I am grateful for the opportunities I've been given and the trust you've placed in me. However, I can no longer continue in this role. The circumstances surrounding my work have become untenable. For my own well-being, I must step away. I hope you understand. Sincerely, my hands shook as I printed it, slid it into a red folder, walked to the 60th floor. Marcus wasn't at his desk. The office door was open. Dominic stood at the window, hands in his pockets, silhouetted against the city he ruled. I set the folder on his desk. He turned, looked at the folder, then at me. "What's this?" he asked. "My resignation." Silence. He picked up the folder. "Read the letter." His jaw tightened. His scent sharpened. When he looked up, his expression was unreadable. "Is this what you want?" he asked quietly. "No." "Yes," I said. He set the folder down, nodded once. "Then you're free to go." And just like that, it was over. I walked out of the tower, out of his world, and convinced myself it was the right choice. Until 3 days later, when the knock came at midnight. The first day after I quit, I slept for 14 hours. The second day, I cleaned my apartment, scrubbed every surface, threw out clothes that smelled like the tower, leather, steel, ambition. The third day, I went to the grocery store. That's when I noticed the car. Black sedan, tinted windows, parked across the street when I left. Still there when I came back. I told myself it was paranoia. That night, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Silence. Then the line went dead. I blocked it. 3 minutes later, another call. Different number. Same silence. I stopped answering. The next morning, there was a note on my door. No envelope, just folded paper wedged into the frame. I opened it with shaking hands. "You should have stayed where you belonged." My blood turned to ice. I locked the door, triple-checked the windows, sat on my couch with my phone in my hand and tried to convince myself I was overreacting. Then the footsteps started. Slow, deliberate, back and forth in the hallway outside my door. Too measured to be a neighbor, too persistent to be coincidence. I pressed my back against the wall, held my breath, counted the seconds between each pass. 10 steps away, turn, 10 steps back, over and over, for 20 minutes. Then silence. I didn't sleep that night. Sat in the dark with a kitchen knife on my lap and watched the door. The next day I saw him, a man in a gray hoodie standing across the street, watching my building. When I looked out the window, he didn't look away. He wanted me to see him. That night, I was making tea when the building's fire alarm went off. I grabbed my jacket, my phone, headed for the stairs. The hallway was empty. No smoke. No neighbors evacuating. Just the alarm shrieking and my pulse hammering in my ears. I made it to the stairwell, started down. That's when I heard it. Footsteps. Coming up. Fast. I froze. The footsteps stopped. "Going somewhere?" A voice called up. I didn't recognize it. I turned, ran back up, burst into the hallway, ran straight to my door, fumbled with the keys, got inside, locked it. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely hold my phone. The fire alarm cut off. Silence. Then the knock. 3 times. Slow. Controlled. I looked through the peephole and saw Dominic Vale standing in the hallway, drenched in rain, holding a red folder. I opened the door. He steps inside without waiting for permission. His presence fills the space like a storm pressing against every wall. Rain drips from his hair. His suit is soaked. His eyes are scanning windows, corners, exits, before they finally land on me. "Pack a bag," he says. "You're not staying here." I don't move. "What?" "You heard me." His voice is controlled. Too controlled. The kind of calm that comes before something breaks. "Pack what you need. We're leaving. Now." "Dominic, did you get the note?" My throat closes. He sees the answer on my face. His jaw tightens. "The calls?" he asks. I nod. "The man watching your building?" Another nod. He exhales through his nose, turns away, runs a hand through his wet hair. "I should have moved faster," he says quietly. "Should have anticipated this." "Anticipated what?" "I demand. You let me walk away. You said I was free to go." He turns back. His eyes are burning. I said you were free to leave, he corrects. I never said you were safe. The words land like a punch. He crosses the room, stops 3 feet away, close enough that I can smell rain and fury and something darker underneath. The night you resigned, I ran an internal audit, he says. Not finances. People. I wanted to know who'd been asking about you, who had access to your files, who knew your schedule. Why? Because someone tried to kill you in that warehouse, he says flatly. And that kind of escalation doesn't happen unless you're a legitimate threat. My pulse hammers. I found transactions, he continues. Encrypted communications. Orders moving through channels I didn't authorize. All of it pointing to one conclusion. He reaches into his jacket, pulls out the black folder. Someone inside my organization has been building a secondary network, he says. Selling protection, trafficking leverage. And when you started connecting the pieces, they decided you were too dangerous to leave alive. He holds out the folder. This time I take it. Inside, bank records, surveillance logs, intercepted messages. And at the bottom, printed on white paper, terminate the Omega. He knows too much. The room tilts. I flip through the pages. See my own face in surveillance photos. See timestamps matching the last 3 days. See coordinates for this building. They've been tracking you since the day you quit, Dominic says. Waiting for the right moment. Tonight was supposed to be that moment. I look up. The fire alarm. A distraction. Get you into the stairwell. Isolated. Vulnerable. His hands curl into fists. If I hadn't gotten here first. He doesn't finish. He doesn't have to. I sink onto the couch. The folder slides from my hands. Papers scatter across the floor. Why didn't you tell me? I whisper. 3 days ago when I resigned. Why didn't you tell me I was in danger? His expression shifts. Something breaks through the control. Guilt. Because I thought you'd be safer away from me, he says. I thought if you left the company, left my proximity, they'd lose interest. I thought I could handle the threat without dragging you back into it. You thought wrong. I know. Silence. Rain hammers against the window. Sirens wail somewhere distant. I built a kingdom, he says quietly. Spent years making it untouchable. Unshakable. And the first time it actually mattered, the first time He stops, swallows hard. I failed, he finishes. The rawness in his voice cracks something inside me. This is what alpha vulnerability looks like. Not weakness, not surrender, accountability. So what happens now? Ask. He looks at me, really looks at me, not as an employee, not as an asset, as something he's terrified of losing. Now I dismantle every threat with surgical precision, he says. I find the one who issued that order. I trace every connection, every transaction, every lie. And then I erase them from existence. The promise hangs heavy in the air. I should be afraid, should be horrified by the casual way he talks about ending lives. But all I feel is relief, because he's not asking me to do this alone anymore. There's one condition, he says. I tense. What? You stay under my protection. No arguments. No negotiations. You move into secured quarters. You don't go anywhere without clearance. You don't make decisions that put you at risk. My spine stiffens. You're asking me to become a prisoner. I'm asking you to stay alive. We stare at each other. I gave you a choice 3 days ago, he says. I let you walk away because you needed to choose yourself. But I am not. His voice cracks. I am not accepting a world where you're gone from it. Not a confession. Not yet. But close. So dangerously close. What if I say no? I whisper. Pain flashes across his face. Then I walk away and spend the rest of my life knowing I failed the one person who actually mattered. My heart stops. The one person who actually mattered. Not employee. Not asset. Not useful Omega. Mattered. I look at the scattered papers. At Leo's face in one of the photos. Gray eyes. Haunted expression. At the message ordering my death. I'll stay, I say quietly. But not because you're ordering me to. Then why? I meet his eyes. Because Leo deserves justice, I say. And I won't get it by hiding. Something shifts in his expression. Respect. Relief. Something fiercer underneath. Then we do this together, he says. And for the first time since everything began, I feel something steady settle in my chest. Not safety. Not yet. But direction. The secured quarters are on the 59th floor. 2 floors below Dominic's office. 3 rooms. Reinforced walls. Biometric locks. A gilded cage. But I don't have time to resent it. Because the morning after I move in, Dominic hands me a new file. This is everyone who had access to Leo's transport logs, he says. Cross-reference with the financial records. Find the pattern. I find it in 4 hours. 12 people had access. 3 made unauthorized queries in the week before Leo disappeared. 2 of those 3 received offshore transfers within 48 hours of the kidnapping. 1 name appears in both lists. Richard Chin. Head of operations. Dominic's right hand for 6 years. The man who negotiated half the deals that built this empire. My stomach drops. It's Chun, I say. Dominic goes still. You're certain? I show him the evidence. Timestamps. Transaction codes. GPS data placing Chen's personal vehicle at the warehouse 2 days before Leo was taken. Dominic reads every line. His scent darkens. Alpha Fury, precise and lethal. He's been with me since the beginning, Dominic says quietly. I know. I trusted him with everything. I know. Silence. Then Dominic picks up his phone. Marcus, conference room A. Now, bring Chin. 10 minutes later, we're in the soundproof room on the 55th floor. Chun walks in smiling. Dom, what's this about? I've got the quarterly review in. He sees me. His smile falters. Sit down, Richard, Dominic says. Chun sits. What's going on? Dominic slides the file across the table. Explain these transactions, he says. Chun opens the file. His expression doesn't change, but his scent spikes just for a second. Fear. I don't know what this is, Chun says carefully. Offshore accounts registered under shell corporations you control, Dominic says. Payments matching dates when protected assets went missing. GPS data placing you at locations tied to trafficking operations. Chen's jaw tightens. This is circumstantial. This is a pattern. Dom. Don't. Dominic's voice drops. Cold. Lethal. Don't insult me by lying. Chen's facade cracks. You don't understand the pressure I was under. The debts. The threats. They gave me a choice. And you chose to sell children. I chose to survive. The words echo in the silence. Dominic stands. Walks around the table. Stops behind Chen's chair. You took Leo, he says quietly. Ordered the hit on an Omega under my protection. Betrayed every principle this organization was built on. Chen's hands shake. What are you going to do? Dominic leans down. Whispers something I can't hear. Chen goes pale. Please, he whispers. Please, Dom. I'll disappear. You're already gone. Dominic straightens. Looks at Marcus. Remove him. Process the termination. Alert the legal team and law enforcement. Every shred of evidence gets delivered. Marcus nods. And the network? We dismantle it. Every contact. Every account. Every person who knew and said nothing. Chun is dragged from the room. His protests fade down the hallway. Dominic stands at the window, hands in his pockets. Silent. I approach carefully. Are you okay? Ask. He doesn't answer for 10 seconds. I brought him into this, he finally says. Gave him power, access, trust. You didn't make him betray you. I didn't stop him either. I reach out, hesitate, then place my hand on his arm. He flinches, but doesn't pull away. We stopped him now, I say quietly. That's what matters. He looks at me. His eyes are storm gray. Wounded. Is it? He asks. Before I can answer, the door opens. Marcus. His face is white. "We have a problem," he says. Dominic tenses. "What problem?" Marcus looks at me, then back at Dominic. "Leo recognized one of the names in Chen's network," he says. My blood runs cold. "Who?" Dominic demands. Marcus swallows hard. "Victoria Reeves." The name hits like a bomb. Victoria Reeves. Dominic's mentor. The woman who taught him everything. The alpha who helped him build Vale Industries from nothing. The one person in the world he still called family. Dominic doesn't speak for 30 seconds. Then, "Get me everything. Every communication. Every meeting. Every transaction with her name attached. We work through the night." Victoria Reeves' involvement isn't obvious. It's layered. Hidden beneath legitimate transactions and authorized operations. But once we start pulling threads, the tapestry unravels. She didn't just enable Chen. She created him, built the network, established the pipeline, used Vale Industries' infrastructure to traffic leverage and protection while Dominic focused on expansion. And when I started connecting dots, she ordered my elimination. "We need proof," I say. "Something that ties her directly to the trafficking operations." "We have proof," Dominic says. "Not enough for prosecution. She's covered her tracks too well. We need a confession." Marcus looks up from his laptop. "You're suggesting we bait her." "I'm suggesting we give her what she wants." Dominic's eyes cut to me. "No. She wants me dead because I'm a threat. So we make her think she's one. Draw her out. Record the confession." "Absolutely not." "Dominic." I said no. His alpha command rolls through the room. "I am not using you as bait." "Then how do we stop her?" Silence. "There has to be another way," he says. "But we all know there isn't. Victoria is too careful, too protected, too embedded in the organization's foundation. The only way to expose her is to make her feel safe enough to gloat." I stand. Meet his eyes. "I'm doing this," I say. "With or without your permission." His jaw clenches. "You're under my protection. And I'm choosing to use that protection to end this. For Leo. For every other child she's sold. For us." I don't say it. But he hears it anyway. His shoulders drop. "I can't lose you. You won't. You don't know that. Then trust me." He looks at me like I'm asking him to cut out his own heart. Maybe I am. But 3 hours later, we're executing the plan. Victoria receives intel that I've been isolated, separated from Dominic's protection. Vulnerable. The location. An abandoned office building downtown. Neutral ground. No security cameras. I wear a wire. Dominic and his team position themselves in adjacent buildings. Marcus monitors from a van 2 blocks away. I wait in the empty office on the 4th floor. She arrives at midnight. Victoria Reeves is elegant, composed. Her silver hair is pulled back. Her suit is immaculate. She looks like someone's kind grandmother, until you see her eyes. "Well," she says, closing the door behind her. "The persistent little Omega." I don't respond. She circles me slowly. "You cost me a very lucrative operation. Chen was useful, controllable, and now he's in federal custody because you couldn't mind your own business. He was trafficking children. He was managing assets." She stops in front of me. "You don't understand how this world works, do you? Power requires sacrifice. Dominic built his pretty empire on ideals and morality. But the foundation I laid? That was built on reality. On exploitation. On survival." Her voice hardens. "I gave that boy everything. Made him a king. And this is how he repays me. By tearing apart the very systems that made him powerful. By ending your trafficking network." I correct. She smiles. "Is that what he thinks this is about? Justice?" My pulse spikes. "This was never about the children," she says. "This was about control. Dominic was getting too independent, too idealistic. I needed leverage to bring him back in line. So you ordered my death." I ordered the elimination of a problem. She tilts her head. You're the reason he's breaking free. The reason he's questioning everything I built. Remove you and he comes back to me. Grief makes people so wonderfully compliant. Rage floods my veins. Behind me, the door explodes open. Dominic. His face is carved from stone. His scent is murder. I heard every word, he says. Victoria's smile doesn't falter. Dominic. How dramatic. You're done. Am I? She laughs. You think you can touch me? I built you. I own you. You own nothing. Footsteps. Marcus and the security team flood in. Victoria's expression finally cracks. You'll regret this, she hisses as they restrain her. Everything you are came from me. Dominic steps close to her. His voice drops. Everything I am survived in spite of you. She's dragged away. Silence. Dominic turns to me. His hands are shaking. Are you hurt? He asks. No. Did she touch you? No. He crosses the distance. Pulls me against his chest. His heart is hammering. Don't ever do that again, he whispers into my hair. I had to. I know. His arms tighten. But you're not just an employee. You're not just an asset. He pulls back, looks at me. You're the one thing I can't lose, he says. And finally, I hear what he's not saying. You're mine, and I'm yours. And nothing in this world will take you from me. The fallout is surgical. Victoria Reeves is arrested. Chun turns witness in exchange for a reduced sentence. The trafficking network is dismantled piece by piece. 16 children are recovered. Leo is reunited with an aunt who'd been searching for him for months. I'm there when they meet. Leo runs to her. Crashes into her arms. Sobs so hard his small body shakes. But before he leaves, he comes back to me. Thank you, he whispers. I crouch down. You're safe now. You're going to be okay. He hugs me. Quick. Fierce. Then he's gone. I stand in the empty hallway and try not to cry. Dominic finds me 5 minutes later. He'll have a good life, he says quietly. I know. You gave that to him. I shake my head. We did. He looks at me. Something shifts in his expression. Come with me. He leads me to his office. The view is dizzying. The city spreads below like a kingdom reclaimed. I've made changes, he says. New oversight committees. Independent audits. Whistleblower protections. No one will be able to build what Victoria built ever again. That's good. It's not enough. He turns. I'm stepping back from day-to-day operations. Marcus will take over as COO. I need distance. Perspective. Time to rebuild what should have mattered all along. What's that? Trust. He pauses. And I want you to stay. My heart stutters. As what? Chief Compliance Officer. Autonomous Division. You answer only to the board. You'll have authority to investigate anyone, including me. It's more than a job. It's power. Real power. Dominic. You don't have to answer now, he says. Take time. Think about it. Just. He stops. Swallows. Just don't disappear again. I look at him. Really look at him. The alpha who showed up at my door at midnight. Who dismantled his mentor to protect me. Who gave me choice instead of commands. Who looks at me like I'm the only thing holding his world together. I'm not going anywhere, I say quietly. Relief breaks across his face. Then his phone buzzes. He glances at it. His expression darkens. What? Ask. He shows me the screen. An encrypted message. Unknown sender. The queen is captured. But the king remains. And he's been waiting a long time to meet the Omega who broke his kingdom. My blood runs cold. Who is that? I whisper. I don't know. His jaw clenches. But Victoria wasn't working alone. Someone above her. Someone we haven't identified yet. Another message appears. Tell Dominic. I'm coming for what's mine. And you're going to help me get it. Fear spikes through me. Dominic pulls me close. His scent wraps around me. Protective, possessive, furious. No one is taking you, he says. No one is using you. I don't care who they are. What if we can't stop them? He tilts my chin up, forces me to look at him. Then we face them together, he says. The way we faced everything else. His thumb brushes my jaw. His eyes drop to my lips. The air between us crackles. There's something I need to tell you, he says quietly. My pulse hammers. What? Everything I've done. Every decision. Every risk. It stopped being about the company the moment you walked into my office 6 months ago. My breath catches. I accepted you quitting, he says. But I will never accept losing you. Not to threats. Not to fear. Not to anything. His forehead rests against mine. You're not my employee, he whispers. You're not my responsibility. You're mine. He doesn't say it, but I feel it. In the way he's holding me. In the way he's looking at me. In the way his heart is racing against my palm. We should go, I whisper. Figure out who sent that message. We will. Dominic. But right now, he says, I need you to know. Whatever comes next, whatever war we're walking into, you don't face it alone. Neither do you. His lips curve, almost a smile. Then let's find out who thinks they can take what's ours, he says. Ours. Not his. Not mine. Ours. And as we stand in the tower overlooking the city, with threats gathering in the shadows and a war we haven't named yet, I finally understand what I've been running from. Not danger. Not responsibility. But this. The way Dominic Vale looks at me like I'm the only thing that matters in his entire kingdom. And the terrifying truth that I look at him the same way. Outside, the city hums. Rain begins to fall. And somewhere in the dark, the real enemy is watching. Waiting. Planning. But for the first time since everything began, I'm not afraid. Because I'm not alone anymore. And neither is he. The war for Vale Industries has only just begun.